Hi guys, and welcome to the Bad and Bougie Moms podcast, where we chat with phenomenal millennial mothers about motherhood, relationships, lifestyles, their passions and goals, and much more. I hope you guys enjoy. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Bad and Bougie Moms podcast, brought to you by the Socially Plain Jane Jewelry Collection. If you're a simple fashionista like myself, the SPJ collection is right up your alley. For our modish, refined, minimalistic pieces, you are able to dress them up or dress them down and know you will always look great. Make sure to check out the Socially Plain Jane collection on Instagram at Socially Plain Jane, and that is Jane with a Y. In today's guest chair, we have mom of 8, Nicole Riley. So Nicole is 36 years old and a mother of 8. She has 3 teens, 2 toddlers, and spontaneous identical micro-preemie triplet girls. Her and her family lost one of their triplets in NICU when she was 12 days old. After going to college, working, and trying to live the American dream, she left corporate America 5 years ago and became a stay-at-home/work-from-home mom. She has a tax business, a t-shirt consultation business, and also do network marketing, all from the comforts of her home. Nicole loves to cook, write, design websites, spend time with her kids, and binge watch shows with her honey. Since losing the baby, Nicole would love to become an advocate/voice to infant loss and other NICU moms. So spoiler alert, but not really, Nicole's story is very touching and guaranteed to have it in your feelings. So make sure you get your tissues out and listen to part 1 and part 2 of Nicole's awesome story. She is an amazing, strong, bad and bougie mom. All right, you guys, let's go. Hi you guys, this is Britt with the Bad and Bougie Moms podcast, and in today's guest chair, I have Miss Nicole. Is it last name Riley, right?
It is.
I want to make sure I had it right. Hey Nicole girl, how are you?
Hey Britt, I'm doing well. Good. And I'm so glad to be here. Finally, I know y'all. We've been trying to get on each other's schedule for the longest, so it finally happened. It finally went down after like 3 weeks, but we here. We are here. So Nicole, tell us more about you. Tell us about your beautiful family, you as a mom and also as an entrepreneur, and how did you get your start? Like, I want to know everything. First of all, tell them how many kids you have. That's the first thing. Okay, I have 8 kids.
8, y'all.
They're broken up into sets.
Okay.
I have 3 sets of kids.
Oh my
I have teens, toddlers, and I had triplets.
Oh my God.
My teens, I became a mom at 18. And so my teens are, my oldest, he'll be 18 this year. I'm 36 years old.
Wow.
He'll be 18 this year. That's Tyler. And he is like 6'5".
Wait, did he play basketball?
He's a giant.
I know. Does he play basketball?
He does. He plays basketball.
Okay, good.
And my next baby is Lawrence. He'll be 16 next month, actually. He's tall too. I just realized he's taller than me. He's not as tall as Tyler, but they're both taller than me. Then I have Madison. She'll be 15 in November. So that's my teens. And then I have toddlers, Ava and CJ, who are 4 and 3. Okay. And then I had triplets, but we only have 2 of those remaining. Bella passed at 12 days old, and the other 2 girls they'll be 3 months next week.
3 months. Oh my gosh. So how was that? How was that whole when you found out you was having triplets? Like, I try to wrap my mind around this because I'm like, all right, you have an 18-year-old and then you have a set of triplets that are babies.
Okay, you about to have one leave the house and boom, you got to start all the way up.
Exactly. So how did this come about? Were you guys trying, especially with it being triplets?
Not actively trying to get pregnant. I'm going to just be honest with you. I was about to get a mommy makeover.
Okay. That's what ends up happening when you start doing stuff like that. You either get pregnant. My sister, I remember one time she was going out to buy her a 2-door little sports coupe car. Ended up being pregnant like the next week. I kid you not. She was like, I would not do that again at all.
Brent, let me tell you how things happen. Even with Ava and CJ, with Ava, it was dad that started working out and got healthy. With CJ, I started working out and trying to go to the gym. Boom, found out I was pregnant. With the triplets, like I said, I was about to get a mommy makeover. Dad paid for it for Christmas. It was my Christmas/birthday gift because my birthday's in January.
Okay.
Paid for it. We have a tax business, so I was on the way to after tax season, after my birthday, and after Valentine's Day to get my surgery. And yeah, God has a sense of humor. But you know what else is so crazy? He used to have a Corvette. And the Corvette, we rented it out because, you know, we like to make things an asset instead of a liability.
Okay.
And one of the guys rented it out and wrecked it like a month before we found out we were pregnant. Like, it's insane.
Wow.
Oh, and what's so crazy is the week before we had kind of slid on the freeway. I made a Facebook post about it. We were on the freeway and we did like 5 donuts in the middle of the freeway. Like the car just slid somehow.
Oh my gosh.
And we did like 5 donuts at 5 p.m. in the middle of 5 o'clock traffic. We slid and not a single car hit us. It was nothing but God got in the car. And we rented it out the next week. And the guy that rented it, he totaled it out. And I was just like, that could have been us.
Right.
And we wouldn't have known that I was pregnant and then carrying triplets. It was just so crazy. God has just shown his hand so much in the last few months.
That is crazy. So tell us about your pregnancy, this last one, since it's the most refreshing and newest one. Like, how did you guys find out that you were pregnant with triplets? Like, I want to know about that day. Like, when she was like, yo, I see one baby. Oh, no, I see another one. Oh, wait, no, it's another one. Like, I need to know. I need to be there.
That's how it happens on the TV. But let me tell you, okay, so remember I told you I'm going to get surgery. So I have to get, you know, what is it called? I have to get a physical and everything. So I found out that I was pregnant. I was in denial though. I'm like, girl, I'm not pregnant. I was sick as a dog because when you're carrying multiples, the pregnancy symptoms are like intensified by 10. And so I was throwing up like everything, water. I would throw up everything. I couldn't hold anything down. Wow. And so I was in denial. I'm like, oh my God, I got the flu because it was like January. And I'm like, oh my God, I got the flu. Oh my God, I got a stomach virus. Anything but a baby. And then I had heartburn, and I'm like, oh Lord, now I got acid reflux. Anything but a baby. And so once I did finally find out I was pregnant, I was like, okay. So when I went to the doctor, they were doing an ultrasound. They were taking so long. I'm like, why is this taking so long? It should have taken her 5 minutes. It took a good 20. And then she just took a deep sigh, and she was just like, okay, let me just go ahead and tell you, you're carrying triplets. And I was like, I just started laughing. And then she said, and they're identical. I was like, my exact words were, you got to be effing kidding me.
Oh my gosh. I cannot. Oh my gosh.
And I just started laughing hysterically like a mad woman. And I said, God has a sense of humor. Like, seriously. And I was just laughing like crazy. I said, I have to call my husband. We're not married, by the way, but I do refer to him as my husband. But I was like, I have to call him, and I just broke the news through text because I didn't care at that time. I'm like, look, I'm pregnant with triplets.
Right.
You lying. I'm like, dead serious. And he was like, triplets? Wow. And I was like, my hands are shaking. I didn't know how to react. And I texted my best friend, and she had started this job that she hated, and she was getting ready to quit. And as soon as she read the text, she just started screaming, like, oh my God. And people were looking at her like, what is going on? And she was like, I'm getting ready to get off. I'm going to call you as soon as I get off. And she called me, and I remember sitting in my car crying. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with, I didn't want one baby.
Right.
And 3. And she was like, girl, it's a blessing from God. It has to be God. She's like, this is a miracle. I do not know anybody that had triplets. One of my friends reminded me that we went to school with somebody that with some triplets. And I'm like, girl, I don't remember that. But I don't know anybody that had babies that had triplets. You hear about twins all the time. Like his mom is even a twin.
Okay.
And my half sister has twins, and you hear of twins all the time.
Right.
But you never hear triplets.
Right.
And I was just freaking out, like, what am I gonna do? And she was just like, girl, this is a blessing. This is a miracle. It had to happen for a reason. Something special is going to come out of this, because she's like my conscience.
So, you got to have that one friend.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It was a crazy, crazy day. He's always wanted twins.
Okay.
And we had Ava and CJ. They're exactly 14 months apart. October 29th and December 29th.
Wow.
And they look so much alike, and everybody always thinks they're twins. So we're like, yeah, these are twins. And I'm like, now you got one better.
Right. You really have them. You really have triplets. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, so as far as your pregnancy, how was it? Okay. So you find out that you're pregnant with the triplets. How was your pregnancy leading up to, because this would be, I guess you probably have to take more tests and everything, because it's not like just a regular normal pregnancy. So how was that whole experience?
Okay, so because it was triplets that made it high risk, because they were identical triplets that made it higher risk, because once I found out, because with identical triplets, it's one of two ways, or both ways. Okay. They either share a sac, which means the umbilical cord has a chance to get, all tangled up. Right. Or they share a placenta, which means they have their own sac, but they do get all of their nourishment and oxygen from this one source. Okay. That was my case. My girls had their own sac, but there was only one placenta for all of them. Wow. And what made my case even higher risk is one of my babies' cord it's called marginal cord insertion. So when you think of a placenta, think of a sponge, okay? And you think of the center of the sponge, that's where all the good stuff is, the nourishment, the blood flow, oxygen, everything. The ideal attachment of the umbilical cord is directly in the center. Okay. Her cord was off-centered, so the placenta had to work extra hard to provide her with nourishment and blood flow. Okay. And it became a problem later on during the pregnancy. There were parts of her umbilical cord that weren't getting enough oxygen or blood flow. And so because I was super high risk, I did get doctor ultrasounds every single week. So from week 14 up until I delivered, I got ultrasounds every week. We checked heartbeat, anatomy. We checked everything every single week, just to make sure that everything was going okay with the girls. And then at some point, one of my babies developed what they call IUGR, intrauterine growth restriction. Okay. And that basically means she stopped growing. And so they had to make sure that she had everything that she needed, or we would have to deliver, whenever. And so I got put on bed rest at 28 weeks. Wow. And yes, I got put on bed rest at 28 weeks because I told them I didn't want any interference before 28 weeks because I knew whenever I went in the hospital, I needed to be comfortable with, at any given time, them telling me, hey, we need to do an emergency C-section. Right. I was not comfortable with that until 28 weeks. And so at 28 weeks on the dot, I got put on bed rest because, like I said, she stopped growing. She had that whole cord insertion thing. And then not only that, her cord flow started to... it just stopped having oxygen and everything in it. So they really wanted to watch, because what could have happened, and I had one doctor. I love my medical team, but there was this one doctor. He was let me stop and back up. First of all, I got turned down by about 4 doctors. Nobody would see me. What? Why? Because it was so high risk. A lot of doctors, they just don't have experience with triplets. Okay. And really not identical triplets. They did not want to touch it. I remember sitting in the and on the table of this one particular doctor. I looked him up. He had a lot of great reviews and everything. I was excited. I went in there. His staff were so welcoming and excited, like, yay, we've never had triplets and yada yada yada. Everybody was happy. I'm sitting out on the table with my hospital gown on, butt naked, girl. I'm ready. He comes in. He had an accent. He's like, "You having baby?" I was like, "I'm having 3." He looked. He said, "You have 3 baby right now?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh no, I can't see you. Put your clothes on."
Like, you got to go, girl. You got to go.
He called that nurse back in there. He was like, "No, too high risk. he was like, do her file, no charge, send her whatever he said. And I'm like, what? I just started crying. Like, why won't anybody see me? Like, I just need care. I need some prenatal care.
Right.
And he said, no, it's too high risk. When you have a high risk pregnancy, you're seen by your regular OB as well as an MFM, maternal fetal medicine doctor, which handles high risk pregnancies. And I'm like, all you have to do is you handle my OB care and you connect me with an MFM to do care, with you.
Right.
He was like, nope. So once I did, I went to doing some more research, and I found this one doctor. He was an older Indian guy. And he had delivered triplets in 2014. This couple, let me tell you, they were in London. And they found out they were pregnant with triplets, and their doctor gave them two options. They said either a hospital in New York or a hospital here in Memphis. And they chose the hospital here in Memphis.
Wow.
And he delivered their triplets. Him and his team, they've done some amazing things. And I chose them. And once I went to the regular OB at that hospital, I went to the high risk side. They just told me, don't worry about going back to the low risk side. We're going to do all of your care.
Nice.
And so they did everything. But going back to 28 weeks, every time he would come in, I would hate to see him come in. I started calling him the Grim Reaper because he always came with bad news. And doctors have to take their feelings away from everything.
Right.
But I'm like, dude, every time you come here, you got some bad news. I left his office crying every single day. And I'm just like, he would give me the what could happen.
Okay.
And, not saying that it will, but he always gave me that. He was like, if they're born right now at 24 weeks, they would survive, but they could have these problems, these issues. This could happen, that could happen. If something was to happen to her in utero, because they are sharing a placenta, it could start to affect the other girls. And he didn't say if something happened to her in utero. What his exact words were, if at any time there was an infant demise, I'm like, oh my God,
Lord.
if she died, I'm like, Lord have mercy. But he was very good at what he did. He just needed to kind of really work on his humanity skills. But he would always tell me the risk of everything. And like I said, I didn't want any intervention until 28 weeks. Right at 28 weeks, I was put on bed rest. I got ultrasounds once a day, and I got the NST scans where they basically monitor the baby's heartbeats for about an hour. I got those twice a day.
Okay.
And I was only in the hospital for 5 days. I was in the hospital from Thursday to Tuesday, and my baby's heart rate decreased, and they did an emergency C-section.
Wow.
And
so 28 weeks. That's the girls were born then. Okay.
Yeah, they were born at 28 weeks. So they were micro-preemies. They were born.
Wow.
Everybody was under 2 pounds, and my biggest was 2 pounds even. Yes, I had 1.4 that was Bella. 114 was Brooklyn, and Bailey. No, 114 was Bailey, and 2 pounds was Brooklyn.
Wow. And I can only imagine because a full term baby is 6 to 7 pounds, and that's tiny. So I can only imagine holding them or just seeing them. They had to be super small. Oh my gosh.
Seeing them, they were so tiny. I couldn't hold them because they were so small, and they had to be put in the isolate, and they had to have breathing instruments and everything. The thing about it, my baby that had the marginal cord insertion, the one with the decreased heart rate and all that, the reason we were on bed rest and being monitored every day, she came out being a rock star. She was breathing on her own, breathing room air. It was a case of better out than in.
Oh, wow.
And so she was doing great. She was the smallest one. She was doing great. She was really feisty. And she was actually the one we ended up losing. But I'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, she was doing great. Brooklyn, the one that was 2 pounds, she was the one having breathing problems. She had to be intubated. Like, it was crazy. I was scared for her because when we looked at her, her chest was caving in. They call it retraction. Her chest was, caving in so deep. And her dad was like, is she going to grow into her chest? Like, they were so tiny. When you're pregnant, you have your mind set on, how your baby's gonna look and all these things. You have your, you have your mind set on certain things from pregnancy and birth and all that. I bought all these outfits. I had my hospital backpack. My babies couldn't fit any of that stuff. Like, they could not even wear clothes until they were about probably almost a month old.
Wow.
But I could not hold them. I think they were 8 days old when I finally held Bailey in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And then when it was time for me to hold, because what happens, because they were so small, they had, the umbilical stump. They get their IVs through that, because that's there's a large artery right there.
Okay.
And so they got like an IV there for them to, like, if they needed to draw blood or administer medicine or, anything, so they wouldn't have to keep sticking them. Well, the stump falls off. So they have to end up getting a PICC line in their arm. That's basically an IV for a baby.
The babies, right.
That does not infiltrate. Like, with us, we can only wear one for like 3 days before it blows. The PICC line, it goes for a little longer, a week or two or whatever.
Okay.
So they had to get a PICC line and take the thing off their belly button. I could not hold them while they was on, because if it came off, they could bleed out. And so I had to wait till they got a PICC line and that whole stomach thing was healed up before I could hold them. Well, the thing with Bella, they attempted the PICC line one time and it did not work. So they don't like to do it, too much, because it's stressful on the baby to keep trying to find a vein and all of that. So they waited a day or two before they did it again. Now, mind you, I'm less than 10 days postpartum.
Right.
I just had my first C-section. Not only that, I had multiples for the first time. Not only that, I had preemies for the first time, and I'm dealing with the NICU for the first time. Woo. So I'm dealing with a whole lot of firsts at one time.
Right.
And, not only that, just seeing my babies, the NICU is a stressful place. Okay. It will break down the toughest person. And so just not knowing what to expect, not knowing how truly delicate life and pregnancy, all of that is. And so I'm seeing my babies. I did not leave. I left out of there crying every single day. And so it was finally time for me to, I was bringing breast milk back and forth to the hospital. I'm pumping like a mad woman. And they said they were getting ready to do a Bella's PICC line the next day. It was on a Thursday. That Thursday, I was so tired. I was like dog tired, and I did not go to the hospital. They did do her PICC line, though. Okay. And so when I went up, I was supposed to go up there Friday, and I knew I was going to get to hold Bella. Now, let me stop this story. Let me tell you about Bella. Bella was my favorite. I hate to say that, but let me tell you. Last year, I made a Facebook post, and I said, our next baby, we're gonna name our next daughter Bella. Okay. No, I'm not pregnant. When I went back to the conception calculator and all that, I got pregnant 2 weeks later.
You spoke that into existence, even though you don't want to say you did.
Existence. And then once I found out I was having 3 girls, I'm like, well, I know baby A is Bella. Well, I don't know about the rest of them, but baby A is Bella. And then I just had such a connection with Bella while I was pregnant. She was my tiny baby. She was the sweet one. She had the issues with the cord thing, and I have the most ultrasound pictures of her. She was the only one that acted right during ultrasounds. Okay. And so I was so ready to hold my Bella. And when I called up there that Friday, like, yes, I get to hold my baby. We were like, well, we're going to hold off on holding her because now she's showing signs of infection. I'm like, what? What kind of infection? Where did she get it from? Like, how did that happen? And they're like, well, babies get infections in the NICU and blah, blah, blah. So I started looking that up, and I saw that it is common for babies to get infected in the NICU. And what they do is they start antibiotics, an antibiotic that kind of covers most things that the babies could have in the NICU. And they draw labs, and labs takes 24, 48 hours to come back. So by the time it comes back, the medicine has kicked in. Okay. And the babies are doing okay. It's very common for babies to get infections. And like I said, they catch it early and the babies are okay. Well, what happened, obviously, with my baby, they didn't catch it early.
Okay.
I know she was giving signs. I just know she was.
Mm-hmm.
They did not catch it early. They started antibiotics a day late. So by the time that she got the antibiotics, it was just too late. Whatever she had already started to affect her.
Right.
Because she had all those openings, she had the belly button opening, she had the first PICC line attempt opening, she had the one that was successful. They would stick their heels on their feet to take labs. So she had all these different openings.
Right.
But there was not a bandage on all of those. Anybody could have touched her for stimulation if she dropped her heart rate. Anybody could have touched her to change her, to do whatever. And everybody has staph on their skin. Everybody does not wash their hands.
Right.
Everybody, you could put on some hand sanitizer and then touch your hair. I've seen it happen. And then touch the baby, and whatever chemicals, whatever germs, whatever everything is on you, it's on the baby.
Right.
Like I said, it happens. I don't even care about that. My thing is, it should have been caught. That's my only thing. Just like with any other baby that shows signs of infection, you start those antibiotics really early, and it kills whatever because you caught it in time, the baby's fine.
Right.
Bailey and Brooklyn both had antibiotics at some point during their NICU stay because they had whatever sign of infection, whether they had an infection or not, they showed the signs. They picked up on it early. They started antibiotics just as a precaution. They ended up being okay.
Right.
But with Bella, a lot of people are saying, well, they're preemie. She was still very young. She was still this. She was still there. Bella was the best one.
Right.
Bella, nothing was wrong with her. So that's my opinion. That is definitely my opinion.
So did that's what I was going to say. Did they apologize? Like, what's the next steps? Did they say anything? Like, okay, you're right.
I can't speak on some of it because I have some things going on with that.
Mm-hmm.
But the way it happened, like I said, they just kept saying, she has an infection. And so when I went to the hospital, I ended up going to the hospital 2 or 3 times that day.
Mm-hmm.
By the time my last visit at the hospital that night, my baby was on 100% oxygen. She went from breathing on her own the day before to being on 100% oxygen to everything that could be wrong with her blood was wrong.
Wow.
Her blood pressure was low. She was on blood pressure medicine. Her hematocrit, which is her blood count, was low. She had to get a blood transfusion. She had to get several blood transfusions. Her iron was low. She had to get iron. Her sugar was low. She had to get glucose. Her bilirubin levels were high, so she developed jaundice. She had to put under the jaundice lights. They stopped her feedings. They started antibiotics. Everything that could be wrong with my baby was wrong with her in a 24-hour period.
Right.
And so I still could not hold her. I couldn't even touch her. They would tell me, if you touch her, make sure you scrub your hands really well before you go touch one of the other babies, because we're sure it's an infection that she's fighting. And we don't want to, give it to one of the other babies.
Right.
And so finally the doctor says, when we went up there that last time, all of her numbers are like just low. Her heart rate should be about 160, 170. Her heart rate was like 120. Mm-hmm. Her oxygen should be between 85 and 100. It was like 40. So all of her numbers were low. She was on 100% oxygen. She was just laying there. Right. And the doctor says once her heart rate gets to a certain number, you're going to be faced with a decision. Because if it gets that low, she could seize or, anything could happen then. You have to make the decision to resuscitate, to do this, to do that. So I'm like, okay. So I'm standing there and I'm recording her with my phone. Mm-hmm. And I'm just recording her and I'm talking to her and close the door, baby. Mm-hmm. Toddlers.
Yeah, no, you're still a mom. We understand.
And so I'm recording her, and then I thought I stopped recording her, and I asked the doctor, what's the number? And she said, what number? I said, you said once it gets below a certain number, I need to make a decision. She said 60. And I looked over there at her heart rate, and it was under 100. And I'm like, man. She said, I have another suggestion. Okay. I'm going to suggest that you hold your baby. And I'm like, at that point, I lose it. And I'm crying, and we're preparing to hold her for the very first time, and she's dying.
Right.
And
oh my gosh.
They put us over on the other side of her bed, and they hand her to me, and I'm just bawling, and I'm talking to her, and I tell her, you know, Bella, you did good. You fought so hard. You did what you could do, and I will not be selfish and tell you to keep fighting. I'm gonna be okay, but if you have to let go, you let go. I will be okay. Right. I love you, and I'm gonna miss you. And my baby died in my arms, and she took her last breath in my arms. And they unplugged the machine. Okay, give me a second.
No, girl, you about to make me cry, child. I can't. I can't, Lord.
They unplugged the machine, and I lost it. And then I looked down at my phone, and I had been recording the whole time.
Wow.
And I did not know it. So most of the video is black, but you can hear me.
Still hear your voice.
Tell my baby to let go.
Right.
And I have been documenting my pregnancy on social media because triplets.
Right.
So I have been documenting my pregnancy, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything with my social media. And I struggled with myself, like, am I going to post this? Am I going to post this video? Because everybody had gotten to know Bella. They knew Bella.
Right.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to post it. And I posted me losing my baby on social media.
Wow.
And part of it was the hardest thing I had to do, but it was the best thing that I ever did.
Alright guys, so that is the end of part 1. Amazing, right? I know. So go ahead and move over to part 2 to listen to the rest of Nicole's story, and I hope you enjoy. Alright guys, that is it for us. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you would like to get into some more fun, follow us on social media. On Instagram, we are at Bad and Bougie Moms, on Facebook at The Bad and Bougie Moms, and also on Twitter at BBM_podcast. Make sure you like, share, and comment on any of the podcast platforms that you listen to us on. Again, we hope you guys enjoy. See you later.